Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Geek Podcast. My name is Julian Santiago, and I'm here with my friend. This is your cue, man. Now you say your name. you know,
Ignotus, hello there.
Ignitus. There we go. It took a while, but there we go. Anyway, so today's gonna be we're going to be talking about video games in 2022, all the way from Xbox, Nintendo, Sony. Maybe other projects on the side, like for example, Uncharted got released this year and all that, so that could be also a possibility. Have you seen Sonic Prime, by the way? Like it just released on Netflix.
No, it released yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yesterday? Yeah, I haven't watched it. Watch it today or later.
It's actually, so it's kind of decent per se. The first episode, the first episode just puts you like in Green Hill, like the typical first level that you see in almost every single Sonic game, pretty much. And then it just shows you the cast, like Knuckles, Amy, and all that. Even Shadow appears in the cast, so Shadow's gonna be like already pre-established in the world, and then Eggman is gonna be pre-established in the world, and then what's gonna happen is that they have like this emerald, and Sonic just like shatters this emerald, and it creates like a multiverse. That's how at least I see it. It's like a multiverse where there's different versions of each universe, but Sonic is the only one. It's the only constant between each universe.
Where like he's the same in every single universe.
Yeah, so he's like he's the only one that knows what happened. Like he has those memories, but everybody else doesn't.
That's interesting.
So that's like basically how they present the story in this one. But anyway, just for everybody listening to the podcast for the first time, this is gonna be just a simple podcast of people just talking regularly about video games and all of that. So if you like that, welcome in, welcome for the ride. If not, you can just fuck off then. That's really all to it. All right. So why not we start for Nintendo? I think that's what we both are more into. So like, why not just start with the best that we're known for? How would you consider Nintendo's year? Like, what do you play this year from Nintendo? Like, I think we both played Pokemon Legends Arceus. That was like the first game that came in January.
It was in Arceus. Yeah.
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 Now, what do you thought about that game? Honestly, like.
I really liked it. I think it's one of the best Pokemon games ever released.
Mm-hmm.
But it has issues. Of course it.
No, yeah, I feel it's like one of the best Pokemon games ever released in terms of like quality and all the mechanics they tried to introduce in the game. But Pokemon Company being Pokemon, they decided to, they said we have something really good here, so we need to fuck it up at the end of the year, and that's exactly what they did. But that topic's coming a little bit later. But in terms of Pokemon Legends, Arceus is super good for the mechanics they're trying to introduce. They first tried to implement these mechanics on Sword and Shield with the open areas and the open world aesthetic of the game. Pokemon Legends Arceus was like the first one, right, that they push for that open awareness of it. Also, it like eliminated a bunch of like traditional style things like gyms, a champion, and all that, and introduced a lot of more. It was like a prequel to Diamond and Pearl, really.
Like a weird prequel, sequel, something weird. It's really weird.
Yeah.
No way to explaining it.
I don't know. It's like I don't know what the fuck they were doing. But yeah,
this is why you don't play with time.
I think they were bored and said, you know what? Let's make an Arceus game because we never made it. So let's do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And they just went overboard, and then they just did it. It nailed the coffin. The game came like 2 months later of Diamond and Pearl. And
from the yes.
Yeah, right. Because Diamond and Pearl came on November, and then they just came in and just brought that game 2 months later. So I think Nintendo started with a bang on that one. I think it really really good. Next after that, what the hell did they just release? I,
Oh right.
I don't think it was Kirby. Kirby was a little more later down
Oh
the
yeah.
line, but
That was in June. June 6th, I remember.
yeah.
June, March.
Well, you know what? Since this is
It,
such a professional fucking podcast, let's just not go by timeline and just say whatever we want to say. So, did you
yeah.
play Kirby by any chance?
Yes, I did.
What do you think about that one?
It was incredible. One of the best fucking Kirby games that I have ever played. God damn it. Damn that the music, the world, of the power ups, the fire one. All the best in the series.
That's like I think I never got it to upgrade to the max, but I know you just throw like a lot of volcanoes, a lot of not volcanoes, like meteors and flamethrowers and
The meteor ones is the second level. The last level is like dragon fire. You become a dragon and everything. Well, kind of.
now just imagine Kirby all reptilian like now. So, what do you think about the difficulty?
The difficulty was pretty easy. What you expect about a 3D game. Although, except in the post game, that those bosses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say. Should I say? Should I say who they are?
Yeah, like at this point, who gives a shit if whoever hasn't played this?
You play the post game, right?
No, really, I have not. So me,
You
I just
should.
went, I played it, upgraded a couple of levels and all that. I think my favorite one could be the sword, just because it had a Meta Knight aesthetic to it. But
Oh yeah.
after that, I just beat the game and that's it. I just went to the next game. I literally did not
Bro.
went back to the post game because it was just so easy.
Bro, you have to play the post game. Those bosses are worth it, just because of the.
I think I watched it on YouTube. I think I watched the post game. I know that
Incredible.
you have to, like, one of the enemies all of a sudden helps you, like the tiger one. Was it the tiger one or the cheetah?
Chlorine.
Chlor-
Chloraline.
Chloraline. Yeah,
Which pronounce
sure.
it?
Say it again without getting troubled.
Chloraline, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely, yeah. So I think that was also another good one, good release from Nintendo. Obviously, got nominated for Best Family Game in the Game Awards, and it actually won Best Family Game in the Game Awards. But I kind of felt that there's another game that should have won that, and that's Nintendo Switch Sports. Did you play that one by any chance?
No, it didn't really interest me.
You know what? Me neither. So let's just go to the other one because I literally did not play it. It did not interest me. Obviously, if you like Wii Sports and all that, most likely it could have been an interest for people who had that nostalgia, or obviously more an older audience. That could be also like 20 like clubhouse games. That could be also like that type of game for that type of audience. But yeah, here's the thing. Did you play, because Nintendo had a really up and down this year. They sometimes hit it out of the park with like Pokemon or Kirby or even Splatoon 3. But then they also fucked it up real hard. Like, for example, do you play Mario Strikers?
Mario Strikers. So I played the demo. I didn't got around to buy the game. Wasn't really like the demo didn't convince me.
Mm-hmm. So
like seeing reviews and other people playing it, yeah, it just didn't convince me at all.
Okay, definitely no. But for me, at least, so I was working at GameStop, and GameStop has this little like benefit basically that allows you to like take a game home and you can play for a couple hours and that's it. No, sorry, for a couple days. So it's like a rental.
So you like borrow it.
Yeah,
so
basically.
Like
yeah, you borrow it and all that.
That's so cool.
So I just basically took it and then I played it, and let me say that's like the worst fucking game they released this year. The game has no online, has no gameplay aesthetic. They recently released the last update on December, and the only fucking thing they fucking put to this fucking game was two characters being fucking Bowser Jr. and stupid the Gordo pink as this thing that looks like Jojo Birdo, exactly. So they just put these two little motherfucking things. That's it. They put these two things, That's it. Nothing else. No, nothing else. No stadium, nothing. They did not even were able to like update the multiplayer so that way people can have like more than two players on the game. Like you could have
Wait,
league.
seriously?
Yeah. So the one selling point of this game, like the title is called Mario Strikers Battle League. So the selling point of this game is to you to create a battle league and people to challenge that battle league. That's the whole selling point of the multiplayer concept of this game. However, you can only connect two switches in order to play. Then the other two characters are just NPCs or basically, players automatically play players. And then you and the other person that you're playing, basically you just swap between all characters. How the fuck Nintendo cannot actually make this game online compatible when they have a game called Splatoon 3 like 4 months later and you can do 4v4 no problem. I think you can kind of like 8 switches no problem whatsoever. And it's like, what the heck are you doing?
I have no idea what the heck.
I'm like,
Okay, I won't comment much because I don't have the game, but holy hell.
so yeah, no, and then the gameplay, like literally what you see on the trailers is literally that's it. Like you can experience this game in around, I want to say, like not exaggerating, like 20 minutes. You can just do like 2 playthroughs of the game, like 2 rounds. That's it. You experience absolutely everything. And then the little mechanic system that they put for the gears that you can you can upgrade them, and maybe let's say you have a Bowser that he's like a tank, and you want to upgrade the
Uh-huh.
speed. It's stupid because what it does is it increases a stat. So let's say you have Bowser and you want to increase his speed. You increase his speed, but then you decrease his toughness. So what it does is just turns him into a speedy character. And at that point, why just not use a speedy character in the first place?
I can see where you're coming from. I can see.
Like there's
Hmm.
no real point to it itself. Other games like Splatoon 3, this one I know you have played a bunch of hours in. So why did
Yes,
you tell me
almost
what?
200.
Almost 100. I have like maybe like 30. But like
Really?
yeah, I have not played the Splatfests previously, like the Pokemon one and all that. But I know you do. So what do you like and what you don't like about this?
Okay, from Splatoon 3, I love the music. That's the first. I think this hero mode is the best one in the series, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But that twist at the end, love it.
So
Ah,
like the single player. So is the single player
yes.
worth it in any way or form? Because literally, at least for Splatoon 2, I didn't feel that it was worth it. It was more like a tutorial. Is this one like the same way? Because I have not even tried it. I have not even bothered with it.
Eh, You, you should play it. It isn't like Splatoon 2's. It doesn't feel like a tutorial, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I think it's worth it. Yeah, I say yeah.
Did they actually? Let me remember. I think because I heard that a lot of people said that it was like a tutorial. Is it more similar to like the Octo expansion?
It's like a weird like combination of Splatoons, normal hero mode, like from 1 and 2, and the Octo expansion.
Okay, sorry everybody listening for that cut. But yeah. So where were you right now? You were saying
Uh, we're talking about the story of the
Splatoon. Yeah.
like comparing it to like twos and the Octo expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, So yeah, the story mode is kind of difficult. O sea, some stages,
Some
kind of
stages.
complicated.
It's only a
Yeah,
little bit complicated.
kind of. Or maybe it's just me because I don't know what to play Splatoon.
Well, it really all depends, really. I think it really all depends on the
Yeah.
player. So in terms of the multiplayer aspect, I do like the arenas and the new weapons, like the Splatana and then the bow. I think the one that I've typically used still is like the dualies. That's like my go-to type weapon. But I do
Hmm.
like the new maps, and but the one thing I don't know, they didn't introduce any new modes, right? Like in terms of like Rainmaker and Splat Zone and all that. They didn't introduce like a
Not,
new one at all.
not really. They introduced a new rank rank X. I don't know how it's pronounced. I haven't gotten there yet. Yet.
Mm-hmm. Like a new ranking system, basically for like players and all that.
Something like that, for what I understand. Just I don't play a lot of Anarchy.
Okay then. Okay. So it's like basically like a type of a new rank system, so that way it doesn't create any complications. Because I know this one has save cloud, so that could be one of the reasons they created this new like competitor like competition system, basically.
Probably, and also like an extra chance to all the players that reach the S rank in all the modes, like Rainmaker, Clan Blitz, Splat Zones, and I forgot the other one. Tower Control.
Okay then. Okay, so yeah, at least I enjoyed that. Moving to like other ones, did you played Xenoblade?
If I played Xenoblade, my guy, I almost have 200 hours. God,
Okay.
the best game of the year. Game of the year. It was robbed. I said it, and I'll say it again. It was robbed.
Well, so here's the thing. At least for me, so hear me out on this. I bought it, right? I spent $60 on it, right? I installed it. I launched it, and I think I spent it like maybe an hour playing it, and that's it. Like literally, I just closed the game and have not ever touched it again. Simply because that gameplay system loop, I cannot go through it. Like I cannot stand that you can just put your Switch right there in front of you and see your character just completely defeat two enemies. And I know that it's the beginning. I know it's like, and I'm not saying that it's a bad game or at all. Like I know, right before the Xeno fans comes and get me, but I know that the game is good, right? I'm not saying that it's not, but like that type of gameplay is just not for me. Like seeing the characters just defeat other enemies in just one or two attacks is like completely. It's not motivating. It doesn't motivate me at all.
Damn, I'm surprised I didn't know that. Damn.
It did not motivate me at all. Like I still have it installed, and I'm planning to maybe later on give it another try, like for the fourth chance.
Yes.
But I know Xenoblade Chronicles 1, I liked it. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I tried, but it was a mess. In terms of the same aspects, Torna I did liked. I think with Torna they improve a lot of the issues that the the second Xenoblade had. And then this one is just the same combat. I'm just like, I know that it has good stories, good characters, good everything, but just the gameplay just doesn't go with me. It just does not go with me.
Ooh. Yeah, man. I say give it another try. It's worth it. It's worth it.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Give it a try.
Okay, fuck. I'll give it a try. But just give me 1 second, okay? And then third party games. Did you play like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I played it with you.
Well, yeah, true. So you only played it like through Game Pass because we played it through Game Pass. So that could be more often the Xbox side when we start talking about Xbox. Any other first party game? Like, did you play like maybe Bayonetta or Mario plus Rabbids?
I didn't get any of them. I'm planning to do so, but I didn't get them.
You didn't get them?
Xenoblade.
No. So at least with Bayonetta, I have not played. I'm planning to play it later down the line. Based on what I heard, it has some little hiccups and issues, frame rate rise, but story and the gameplay, everything sounds super good and super nice. So that is great. That is honestly super great to hear. And then in terms of Mario plus Rabbids, that one I did buy. I did like the improvements they did compared to the first one. The first one was more traditional grid-based combat. This one was more of it was more open-sided. So basically, you have control of this one character, and then you move around that specific area. So instead of being a grid, it's like an open area that the character can move, and then it can activate skills, attack, and all that like a bunch of times. So it gives you like this flexibility, at least in my perspective, of how the game is played and how you can then utilize effectively your skills and attacks.
It's more like more action oriented compared to the first one.
To some extent, yeah, definitely. And then basically, like Bowser, it's interesting. So he has like this jump. When he jumps, he basically, when he lands, he creates this explosion. And then he has some minions that he can throw, like for like I don't know what to call them, like mini grenades. That basically he just, those grenades go to the closest enemy possible, and then his weapon is like a rocket launcher. Basically, that's how you can, the closest thing to like say he just grabs the rocket launcher, he goes fuck it, and just blows everything up.
Oh,
Um,
damn, he sounds so good.
yes, definitely.
When I get the game, that's going to be my main character. I'm sorry.
So at least that's good. Have not finished it, but in terms of what I have played, is a great improvement from the first one. Whoever has not played it should play it. It is actually a really good game. Not my game of the year, but at least for Nintendo, I think for Nintendo, my game of the year has to be Pokemon Legends Arceus. I think that one did enough changes and everything. And I know we're missing two games that I can think of. One is Fire Emblem Three Hopes, but I don't know what to say about this. So basically, that one, I downloaded the demo. I played the demo. Did you play it?
I played it. I didn't finish the demo. It's just, I don't know.
So in terms of positives, I would say that they did well implementing some aspects of Fire Emblem, like the bonding system and the support mechanics. However, the Musa style gameplay, it's not entertaining anymore. I think at the beginning it was fine, you know, with the first Hyrule Warriors and all that. But now it's like, it's boring. Like for me, it's boring. You don't feel nothing. It's like you're hitting air all the time.
Oh, really?
There's no impact between your weapons and the characters. Like, I don't know. I feel it's boring. I feel the genre needs like a little revamp. I think the genre is good and it can be utilized in very effective ways. Like, for example, what they did with Hyrule Warriors to represent the war, and with this one to also do the same to represent war. But I don't know. It just needs like some impact to it, or a little bit of a change. You know, maybe something like Sifu, where it is one character fighting a lot of characters. But they just need something to like refresh the genre in general.
Oh, I understand that. I can see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, so in terms of that, that's that. And then obviously let's go to the fucking last one because okay, so Pokemon fucking Scarlet and fucking Violet. Okay, now I did told you this
Alright.
earlier. I refunded this game. Now, why did I refund this game? I refunded it because literally the issues that it had were not horrible, but it got in the way of the experience. That is like, I have to deal with this. I do want to give it some positives in terms of there were some interesting and good mechanics that they took from Pokemon Legends Arceus and brought to this game that actually made the game experience a whole lot better. And I think a lot of people are having fun and are enjoying the game, but they need to see what they're gonna do because this problem is more of a developing problem. I think Game Freak eat more than they can chew, and they just could not handle this game perfectly. I think that they need to do something internally. They need to either hire more developers, outsource to other studios so they can help them out. Because Game Freak develops the more mechanics and gameplay side of it, and then Creatures is the one that designs the Pokemon. So you have the design of Pokemon already taken care of. Just take like another studio or something that can help you with everything else around it, like outsource it, because Pokemon is the largest media franchise in the world. So you cannot outsource this. You can't. But I think you had a lot more fun. So right, you did have a lot more fun than me.
Yes, a lot. In fact, I think this is the no matter how I say it. I think this is ignoring it the big issues that it has. This is the best Pokemon game ever released. I know Legends Arceus exist,
Mm-hmm.
but man,
So in
yeah, but
term,
though the issues that it has,
uh,
the poor optimizations, yeah, is brings this game down a lot.
so I don't know, man. I just it didn't click with me. Like I was like, oh, okay. I think I just felt to the point where it was like a routine at this point. Like I bought every single Pokemon game year over year, year over year, every single one. And I think at this point,
Mm.
I'm just okay. This is more like comfort food. This is more like a routine for me. I'm just not enjoying this. I think there's a lot more games that I enjoy more than this right now. So that's really my personal thing to it. If everybody else is enjoying it, that's super good. And I think you enjoyed it way more than me, so that's super good. But it just didn't click with me.
Oh yeah, I understand. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So basically, how would you rate Nintendo's year based on what we have talked? Like from 1 to 10, how would you rate Nintendo's year?
Oh, from a 1 to 10, this has been a weird year to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
We have some absolute bangers and some, how do we say this? Not bangers.
Some bangers, like Pokemon
So
or Kirby, Splatoon, Xenoblade,
yeah.
Bayonetta, and all that, Mario plus Rabbids. But there also has been
Mhm.
some stinkers. For me, I think I'll give it an 8. I think it had more bangers than stinkers. The stinkers, those being
I know that
Mario Strikers, and then you could say for me,
Pokemon.
at least for me, Pokemon. Um, but regardless of that, I think overall they really had a solid year this year.
Oh well, yeah. I kind of give it a 7. Like
Oh,
I
so
don't know
you
if
went lower.
I give it a
Mm-hmm.
7. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, I can definitely see that. Just because maybe some games like Nintendo Switch Sports and Fire Emblem just came in, released, and just literally the next day nobody talked about them. Literally,
Exactly.
they just went under
We
the
didn't
radar.
do anything with them.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. And then so let's go move to the next one. What about Xbox? So Xbox is interesting, right? Because they barely release any games. They need to fix this for next year. There's no doubt, all right? They already
True.
talked about
Yeah.
Redfall. They talked about Forza Motorsports, and they talk about Starfield. So they have some games, right? They have some projects. They have some things, but they need to start releasing these games next year because it's either do or die for this company at this point. In terms of like representing to your
Mm.
customers that you're really, you know, people are buying the Xbox with a promise, and you need to complete that promise. But I feel that the strength for Xbox this year was Game Pass. I think that's the strength every single year, and it still continues to be. I think game releases,
Right.
like finally they released Grounded, but cool. I think that game was in early access for like 2 years. They released Plectro Requiem day one, Persona day one. So they have had High on Life day one. So they have had some good highs in terms of day one releases, but I don't feel that they had the best year overall.
I kind of agree with you on that. This year, it's not for Xbox.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
no, yeah, definitely. I know that, for example, in the hardware side, they released the Logitech, that handheld that is only for XCloud. If it was for native games, I think it would have been a little bit more impact. But since it's for XCloud, I know they're really focusing on
Yeah.
that. It's fine, I guess. They also released a new controller basically in terms of the Series Elite 2, but the white one without the accessories. And they also went to Xbox Design Lab and basically allow you now to like customize your controller in any way you like.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, they really need to just start moving their releases. Everything overall, Game Pass is still a strength. Game Pass is still good. If you don't have Game Pass, you're missing out. I feel, because that's a really good subscription that is really hard to like go against it. You have that. and there's nothing else you could to fight it right now. PlayStation's counterpart is not even close to it, and Nintendo's not even bothering to tackle that with their subscription. So Xbox
Exactly.
it's still like the best thing in terms of that, in terms of what they can offer. But yeah, hopefully next year they have a better one. Um, really don't know much to say about Xbox at this point. Again, the main thing about Xbox is just they just need to start pushing better for next year and just improve. That's really it. They need to start putting their games that they supposedly were, um, promising from the start.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they have to do.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
So let's then just move to well, in terms before we move to Sony, there's at least one thing of interest for Xbox, but it has nothing to do with games. It has nothing to do with hardware. Is their acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
All right.
That kind of slipped my mind. So this is interesting, right? Because so the Federal Commission, which is the FTC, which is the Federal Trading Commission, at least in terms of Saudi Arabia and Brazil, they have already greenlighted this acquisition. However, the one in Europe is going against it. The interesting thing is, have you had any chance? Like, have you had any chance of like seeing what they have, the arguments they're using?
I think I saw it once, but I don't remember. It just slipped my mind.
Okay, so prepare to just laugh your ass off, okay? So basically, Xbox right now is literally like saying, hey dude, I do not have first party games. Sony has more first party games than us. We suck. That's literally their message. And Sony is saying, no, like they cannot have Activision because we cannot compete with Call of Duty. They will be too strong. They are too powerful. So they're both just being the kid that they're like, oh no, but I'm the victim, but I'm the victim. They're just pointing fingers at this point. It is hilarious seeing these two companies just point fingers like two little kids. And I'm like, oh, God. What the hell? And I'm like, okay, so number one, I feel this transaction is going to go through because realistically, the standpoint of Sony is that, oh, we don't have a competitor for Call of Duty. Wow, they literally bought Bungie. They bought Bungie. Yeah. You have Destiny. You said that you were going to create at least 10 online service games. Just create one to compete with Call of Duty. You have Resistance. You have Killzone. You're creating fucking excuses at this point. Stop being a child. So, and then, basically, that's all they have to do. And that's it. I think the one thing they don't want is that Call of Duty goes day one on Game Pass. So Xbox has offered a 10-year deal for both Steam, Nintendo, and Sony. Steam already basically took it. Nintendo was agreed a couple weeks ago. So Call of Duty is finally, quote unquote, is coming to Nintendo Switch. I think the one that is coming is Call of Duty Mobile. But Sony does not want to take this offer, basically simply because they don't want Xbox to have the ownership of the IP, so that can be able to just put it on Game Pass day one. And it's weird. It's like what the hell? Like what do you want from this? Like what the hell? What do you want from this?
The arguments are so. They aren't even arguments. Like,
I don't know, man. They are just super weird at this point. They're just super weird. I just wish this transaction just goes through and it's done. It's kaput. Nothing else to it. But now that we mentioned Sony, why not tackle these guys right now? So in terms of before we move, how would you rate Xbox here? I think I'll rate it like a 3. That's it. Like literally.
Saying like 3 or 4. Yeah.
Because they had good day one releases in terms of Game Pass, but that's it. And I feel they have to do more. They really have to do more. So in terms of Sony, Sony started strong with Horizon Forbidden West. I have not played this game. I don't know if you have, or have at least seen some of this game. But it was for the game.
I have seen a little gameplay.
Yeah, so I do see the appeal. I know it's gonna have DLC next year, and it's gonna have like a spin-off game for PlayStation VR too. So I think they started strong, but Elden Ring just came in that same month and just said "fuck you" to Horizon. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And then they released Gran Turismo 7, which again positive in terms of what they said. Even though when this game released, they said that this game was gonna be only for PS5, and then all of a sudden it went for PS4. So oops. And then they basically did like a lot of microtransactions into this game because this was like their first attempt to maybe one of those 10 live service games. um I know that it had some issues in like trading and selling cars and all that crap, so it's like I don't know, man. I'm not into car games. Forza Horizon 5 I think is better, but in terms of Gran Turismo, I played it for a little bit. It was fine. Not the biggest deal ever, but it was just fine, honestly. That's as much as I could say about it. If you like car games, you're gonna enjoy this game.
Okay.
Let me see what other games they released this year. Obviously the big one is
God
God
of
of War
War
Ragnarok at the end of the year. Um, boy, you know, uh, what can you say about it? Based on what I saw, it's another story-driven game. Um, it was a little bit supposedly handholdy because literally you had a puzzle and you just stare at that puzzle for like 2 seconds. The side character will be like, you can just push that button to just continue, and you're like, oh, thank you, man. I didn't fucking notice. So that's pretty much how it is. That's how they have it structured in that way or form, which is fine, I guess. But that's pretty much it. Um, I think it was fine. It was a fine year. Good third parties overall, like Sonic Frontiers, Marvel Midnight Suns, and all that. Call of Duty obviously releasing. But I think for Sony had like only a couple of releases this year, not a lot compared to other years. They started with at least a good one, and it just got fucked because of Elden Ring, and ended a year with a banger. So I think overall it's nice. The one weakness I would say about PlayStation is PlayStation Premium. They barely release games. I know they recently released like a couple games into the service, and it was maybe like PS3, which is like streaming, and then PSP and PS1, but they barely touched the PS2 library, which is the one that a lot of people just want. And then PlayStation Plus extras. Like if you have this subscription, the one that I would recommend is extras, because that way you have a couple games. I know they put Yakuza and a lot of Assassin's Creed games, but at the end of the day, I think it's still their weakest link. I think they still can improve that premium tier because you're paying obviously a premium for this tier. So I think it still has a lot of improvements of it. At least what I think they should improve upon it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. How much would you rate this like Sony's year?
Oof. Like I don't. I as you can see, I haven't really been. I haven't really been in the Sony scene this year, so I won't comment. Like
Like
I won't say.
maybe like I think I'll put it like a 7. I think it's average. I think it got some decent releases, not enough to like blow out of the water. I think of all three companies, the best one that had this year was Nintendo. But I think Sony had a better year than Xbox. Definitely, that's 100%. But in terms of overall, I think I'll give it like a 7, basically. I wouldn't put it like on top of Nintendo just because I feel Nintendo had a better overall year. In terms of what they can offer. And then, you know what? Just because, I know you don't have a Steam Deck, but I do. I think of all companies, the best one that grew was the Steam Deck. So the Steam Deck is actually super good. It plays a lot of good third-party games. Like literally, if you're a Switch fan and you want something that is like handheld and all that, I think the Steam Deck is the perfect thing. Obviously, it still has some hiccups and things. I know Valve was talking about like Steam Deck 2. They're not gonna like touch a lot about graphics, but they were talking about like increasing battery life and maybe the screen. So that was super good to hear about them and all that. So I don't know. Do you have any opinions about the Steam Deck, by the way? I think I never asked you. Like, do you have any opinions about the Steam Deck?
Um, I think it's pretty cool. When they announced it, I really wasn't expecting seeing like basically a portable PC. Like,
Yeah, it even has like a desktop mode and everything. Like it costs like 500, but like
mm-hmm.
it's literally a PC. You can just connect a mouse and keyboard and just use it like a PC, literally. So yeah, it's like a portable PC.
Yeah,
Super
it
nice.
kind of interests me.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think if I have to rate the Steam Deck, I think I'll give it like a 9. Just because for what it does, you cannot really, kill it that much. But for what it does and the price tag that it has, it's actually extremely good. And if you don't want to play like AAA games on it, you can just use it for emulation. And for what I have seen and heard, emulation purposes, it's like one of the best options that you have out there. So yeah, there's obviously other cheaper options for emulation, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, anyway, I think this will put an end to the conversation. I really think it was overall a decent year. I think Nintendo was the best one. Xbox was the weakest. Steam Deck is still growing little by little, and Sony just needs to, resolve a couple of issues that they have on the side and all that. But overall, super nice. Well, man, thanks for being with me on this first episode of the podcast. Hopefully I can have you more time so that way we can just keep talking about a couple more topics and all that. So just in case for everybody that is listening, you can expect this podcast at least once a week. I'll try to typically do it on Saturdays, so you can expect that once a week at least. Anyway, do you want to tell everybody where to find you? If not, I can just put it on the description down below so everybody that wants to follow you can. I'll put my socials down there.
I don't have really like any
socials. You can just put your Twitter, man. That's pretty much it. So anyway, that's all to it, really. Thanks everybody for listening, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more content of this and you enjoying the content. Like or dislike if you don't like it. Like honestly, who gives a fuck? Just do whatever you want. If you have any doubts or you want to tell that I'm wrong of any of these topics, please use the comment section down below and help this algorithm. I beg of you. So yeah, any of that, see you later, everybody.